When you hear the words pop music and the best boy band, who comes to mind? What if I told you that the most overlooked boy group in our generation might be these guys? In the last 6 years, these guys turned a small Korean entertainment company into a company that produced the greatest P-pop group ever.
Are you proud of SB19?
And you don't accomplish that without making a few enemies.
K-pop.
Lima pala sila.
K-pop pangit.
Some of them coming from unexpected places.
Pinoy ba daw?
Parang may ginaya rin.
But behind the group are 5 driven men who were about to transform what was once a laughingstock genre in music into the fastest growing genre of the world.
Ever since we had this goal, and not just for us, but for the entire industry.
Feeling ko hindi pa natin nakukuha yung recognition na dapat para sa atin.
Between disbanding before they even debuted,
All hope is lost parang noong time na yun.
becoming industry outcasts and getting bashed by their own countrymen,
Sana magkaroon tayo ng grupo na hindi naman mga kataasan ng tangos ng ilong. Para talagang original.
Oo.
the rise of SB19 may not be the greatest Filipino success story ever.
Maganda kasi yung revenge kasi talaga yung success na ipapakita mo sa mga tao hindi naniniwala.
Tama yan.
But it certainly is the most inspiring one. This is Cult Triple, a group of talented performers and comedians from Korea you've probably never heard of. They were formed back in 1994 when the word K-pop hasn't even been invented. In 2002, one of the members made the biggest mistake of his life, which will change the entire course of P-pop history. That member was Jong Song Han. It all started when he left the trio in 2002 to become an entrepreneur. Cult Triple became Cult 2. Most of their fans thought that Songhan's decision was a huge mistake because the remaining members started racking up different awards in the entertainment industry. If he only stuck around, he would have gotten those awards too. But this man's decision was final. He used all of his savings to build an event organizing company called ShowBT Entertainment. Today we know him as Tatang Robin. Fast forward to 2015. The fight of the century just happened. One Direction's Drag Me Down was all over the radio, and Big Bang was the biggest K-pop boy group, while P-pop has top one project. Chances are, you have never heard of them. But somewhere in Makati, Philippines, an audition was held. Tatang Robin was looking for young talents who would be part of the package of their service as an event organizers. Talents who can perform on their own but can also serve as backup dancers and singers to their main performers. One of the main attractions of the SAT audition was if you're good enough, you might just debut as a member of ShowBT's first ever P-pop group to undergo a Korean-style training. Filipinos don't get opportunities like that so often, so hundreds of talents applied, but only 30 made it as trainees. They were initially called the ShowBT Musical Gala Team, but then later dubbed as Nara, which in Korean means country and also happens to be the national tree of the Philippines. If you're a fan who is deep into the P-pop scene, you would recognize some of the future P-pop stars, but one of the most notable ones is this guy. On the first day of training, one guy stood out because he was just alone standing awkwardly in the corner.
Nung una, ang weird niya po, nagsasalita mag-isa.
He was facing the wall and making hand gestures as if he was rapping in front of it.
Nakatayo siya sa gilid. Biglang gagano. Sabi ko, anong ginagawa na? Nagre-ritual ba ito sa gilid?
That guy was John Paulo Nasser. He always wanted to be a performer, As a young dreamer, he joined several competitions as a soloist and also as a member of the K-pop dance cover group called PHP. In training, he was the guy who shows up early and leaves late despite juggling a full-time job as a data analyst to help provide for his family. He was selected due to his undeniable diligence and leadership qualities. He is known to have critically acclaimed songwriting ability. Some of my sources even said that he had already written dozens of songs at this time. He's also a badass rapper and was often called a genius but consistently denied it because he claimed to be just a hard worker. This made him the destined leader of the group. He was known as Sejin at the time but later would be known as Pablo. 30 trainees are a lot of trainees. It would take a very observant person with an eye for talent to notice Pablo in that corner. So who was that observant person with an eye for talent? Well, he was also a trainee. Stelvester Ahero. He was only a kid when he started competed as a performer. As a dancer, he racked up win after win on a national level with his school crew and became their official choreographer, teaching crewmates 2 to 3 years older than him. He later joined a dance crew called Seon and went on to win international titles. Stel obviously worked so hard. Amidst his studies and competitions, he also worked part-time as a McDonald's service crew and teaching dance to kids with special needs. There was a point that he worked too hard that he wound up in the hospital. His poor health caused him to lose his earnings and nearly his life. Fortunately, he was able to recover. This made him the obvious choice to become the choreographer of the group. But little did they know that dancing wasn't his only talent. As a kid, he joined the school choir to become the only male soprano and only improved as he gotten older. He easily became the main heavenly voice of the group because his vocals were just out of this world. Unlike Pablo, Stel was very friendly to everyone. In fact, one of his closest friends also auditioned and made it as a trainee. This friend is nothing to be trifled with because having the worst upbringing among the others made him the strongest when it comes down to pure guts and determination. Josh Cullen Santos. He left home at the age of 16 and it was his decision. From growing up in a toxic environment to being physically abused as a kid by their nanny. I'm talking about getting poured candle wax all over their body. At an early age, he experienced what it felt like to be a member of a middle-class family that went rock bottom in just a matter of months. They got evicted from medium-sized apartments to increasingly smaller rooms. It came to a point when his family had nothing to eat with rice but ketchup and salt. They had no permanent address. Because of that, Josh and his sister dropped out of school multiple times, so they got bullied at school for being repeaters. Sometimes he would even get into fistfights for defending her. Josh had enough of this, so he decided to leave to become independent and started working as an internet cafe attendant. Using his own income, he took the alternative learning system to attain his high school degree. He initially had no background in performing. Not until he found Stel performing with his dance group called Seon. Josh became an instant fan, and when they connected, Stel became his mentor, which led to them becoming co-members, and they went on to win numerous K-pop dance cover competitions all over Asia. They even met BTS during one of their winning runs in Korea. So from champions to trainees, what else is in store for them? From then on, their lives became all about performing in small events and training.
We had one mentor when we were training. Tapos, more on personality development siya.
Tapos, presenting ourselves on stage.
We had no idea that the Korean-style training they went through
It's far, far from what they've been doing sa Korea.
was nothing but a mere marketing strategy.
But yung skill-wise, parang ganun. We were left on our own.
They were left alone to fend for themselves, sharing knowledge to improve each other with the hope of making the cut. Some sources told me that Pablo had to record some of their vocal sessions to effectively coach his co-trainees. All of that without salary. This went on for roughly a couple of years, and I don't know about you guys, but this for me sounded kind of brutal. It's not easy to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again without any form of guidance. They were also kept in the dark about their debut date. So frustration started brewing until it reached the point when it only took one trigger to call it quits. On one seemingly normal training day, all trainees were already in the studio, except for Josh. On the same morning, the train broke down.
Nasira yung MRT during that time. Nasira yung MRT. So,
Sinuspindi ang operasyon ng MRT dahil sa power outage.
It wasn't really an accident, but this would still worry anyone, especially the trainees, because it's highly unusual for Josh to miss training. Later that morning, Josh arrived. His co-trainees felt relieved because Josh turned out to be safe. You would think that their company would react the same way, right? Wrong. They decided to terminate his training.
na-late ako, tapos tinanggal ako.
That was the trigger.
Noong tinanggal po ako, nag-quit din yung mga grupo ko. Nag-quit din sila kasi parang naging trigger na point na kung tatanggalin mo si Josh,
Umalis kami sa grupo.
ganun mo lang kadali itapon yung lahat ng efforts and passion tsaka dreams namin.
Show BT had two choices: to keep all trainees or to keep no trainees. The company chose the latter. Everyone left except for Stel.
Parang si Stel lang yung naiwan po nun talaga sa training room. Tapos talagang down na down lahat.
Si Stel natira kasi doon during that time.
Stel set aside all his frustration and remained focused on his goal, while Pablo was devastated.
All hope is lost parang noong time na yun.
In Josh's case, we can only imagine the pain he must have felt to have been booted out of his dreams. Days passed, everyone still feeling down about that incident. Then Pablo's phone receives a message.
Brother, bumalik ka na, brother.
It was Josh. Out of all the trainees, the guy that got sent packing was the same guy who actively convinced everyone to continue chasing their dreams. Perhaps this was the sheer guts and determination from his life experiences in full display. Pablo hurried back to the studio to find Stel alone. But not for long. Josh came back next and took the initiative to convince the company to have them back.
Pumunta lang po ako doon at syempre kung kailangan na makiusap.
So back to training, they went.
Hindi na lang magkahiwalay ng grupo, pero bumalik sila kasi hindi nila ako inuwan.
There was only 3 of them for a while. Then a few other trainees started coming back. So Show BT put together a talent workshop to get more talents to keep the business going. This was batch 1. This was batch 2.
Target locked.
Justin De Dios. He got scouted right away because he was a very good-looking guy and already was a decent singer and dancer. When he joined, he immediately saw a familiar face in Josh.
You look familiar. As do you.
Apparently, Josh told Justin about the workshop because the two already had a stint performing together in a dance cover group called Zero to Hero. So Justin as well wasn't new in the world of performing. He auditioned to be a part of the televised Pinoy boy band Superstar, but he didn't even make it to the live auditions. Perhaps it was fate. That group is nowhere to be found today. Justin obviously deserved better. He went on to finish his college degree in multimedia arts while training, which earned him a filmmaking skill that would prove very crucial to their success in the future. With Justin on board, this completed their prototype boy group. It's composed of Justin, Pablo, Stel, Josh, Zeno, Kurt, and JP. They did multiple test runs leading up to their entry to Pinoy K-Pop Star 2017. They performed B-Day by Icon in an epic fashion, but they didn't win. At this point, ShowBT seemed to have hit a roadblock. The group felt like something was missing. I don't exactly know what happened to Zeno, Kurt, and JP. They either quit or ShowBT felt the need to let go of them and get someone who could take this already great group of guys and push them to achieve the next level. The extraordinary level. This years in the making project of ShowBT needed to reach its peak. So they started the online auditions. When Josh heard about it, he was like, I know a guy. The guy he was talking about was a pain in his butt because their groups have clashed multiple times in their early dance competitions and their battles were always neck and neck. That guy's name was Philip John Suson. He was such a specimen. He was so naturally gifted that excelling in sports looked like a walk in the park for him. He grew up in the church under the care of his grandparents. He was an artistic kid, so he was active as an editorial cartoonist in school. Nobody taught him how to play musical instruments. He taught himself by just listening to the music, so he ended up becoming a southpaw guitarist, but he later then fixed it as he learned more. He was also a gifted singer as a kid. Every time there was a family gathering, he was always forced to sing karaoke by his relatives. But when he hit puberty, he lost confidence in his voice because he could no longer hit high notes. But his confidence came back after being mentored by Pablo, who taught him how to harness his unique low voice that seemingly sounds like it came from the underworld. When it comes to dance, he didn't know he could do it until he was forced to in order to get good grades during their school intramurals. After discovering dance, he transformed from a guy who didn't know it to someone who can fly. Because of his raw talent, he ended up teaching dance to the entire school and continued on to join the dance group called Amigo 7, a would-be rival of Josh and Stel's crew, Seyon. It quickly became a reverse if you can't beat them, then join them kind of deal. So Josh recruited Ken. But there was a problem. He was hundreds of islands away and didn't have the money. What did Josh do? He shelled out for his plane ticket. With nothing else to lose, Philip went and left his previous life in the countryside. He then trained with the boys and officially debuted with them as Ken, the main dancer, the bass vocalist, and the lead rapper of the group. One thing to note is that they were an unlikely bunch because they wouldn't have met each other if Tatang Robin stayed with his already successful group in Korea. Justin didn't make it in his first audition, so he almost didn't try again until Josh told him to do so. And Ken wouldn't even have the opportunity to join if the ShowBT trainees didn't come back after that quitting incident. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the butterfly effect. When a small and seemingly insignificant occurrence has a rippling effect through time, leading to a consequential event sometime long after the initial event, or as Google would put it, the phenomenon whereby a minute localized change in a complex system can have large effects elsewhere. Tatang Robin's so-called mistake back in 2002 led to forming the future P-Pop Kings. In 2018, SB19 was formed. The name of the group was carefully picked. The number 19 is the sum of Korea and the Philippines country code digits, 82 and 63. So 8 plus 2 plus 6 plus 3 is 19. If you subtract both numbers, you also get the same result. SB doesn't only mean ShowBT. It is also about their ultimate goal for Pinoy sound to break into the music industry, which is fearlessly represented by this phrase: Soundbreak.
Get in the zone.
Everyone has that one thing that makes them feel good about themselves. Like they're in control. everything else could be going completely haywire.
Ano ba yan, Stel? Ano ba yung ayos mo yan? Talagang style yan o ano?
Like the world is completely falling apart around you.
Sana makita ng tao kung gaano kami naghihirap.
But when you're doing that one thing, life is wonderful. And that makes everything worth it. Addie Hong. She could have easily become a popular celebrity in the Philippines. Back in Korea, she was a well-established theater actress, a vocal, dance, and beauty coach, a one-woman show. But instead, she chose to use her experience to guide and nurture the boys to reach their highest potential. Along with Tatang Robin, she was also one of the main reasons why SB19 is where they are now. She is popularly known as Miss Hongganda, and we will see her often in this video. Before SB19's debut, they tried to establish an online presence, so on May 16, 2018, they created their Facebook page. This could possibly be the unofficial date they were formed. They started posting song covers like these.
Send me your location list. Focus on communicating this. I just need the time and place to come through. Yeah. I hope he buys you flowers. I hope he holds your hand.
And dance covers like these.
Lean with it, down with it. Hit them folk, now stab with it. Nay, nay, then you stop.
They became more active in social media while maintaining their regular performances in small events. They did this until it was almost time for their debut.
We have good news for you guys. Kasi after the very, very long wait, finally, yes, finally, we will be releasing our debut single entitled Tila Luha!
October 26, 2018. SB19 finally debuted with their ballad single called Tila Luha. But did you know that it wasn't the only song that they had at the time? They also had Love Goes, but they chose to debut with Tila Luha to capture the hearts of the Filipino people because the lyrics are in Tagalog. They then started promoting their debut song in every way they could think of. November 17, 2018 marked SB19's first ever livestream to promote their debut single.
Magsimulan natin ang first SB Talent Camp Facebook Live. Oh! Oh! Ganda po yun. 3! Let's wait for 10 na lang. 10 viewers.
Despite the very few viewers, they went all out to entertain them.
여러분, 저는 너무 배고파요.
Height is really good.
Height is already good. Oh, wait.
Season, sa wakas, dumating na rin ang oras na aking pinakahihintay. Matagal-tagal na rin nagsaray. Sige lang, sige, hano para bang wala pang angabang nadarama. Bigay mo na, machine gun, ratatatatatatatata.
Ladies and gentlemen, among the SB19 is a chic member.
Yep, they did all that in front of just a little over 10 viewers. You can still watch the whole livestream to this day on their official Facebook page. They also perform in schools, malls, nursing homes, and even orphanages, but their debut only received a lukewarm reception. The stream count didn't move as fast as they have hoped for. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. But their grind continued. After the disappointing debut, they started preparing for a comeback.
Today, nandito kami sa recording studio. Nagre-record kami ng kanta namin. Ito mismo yung parang kwento ng SB19.
Yung lyrics mismo ng song namin is about pangarap ng SB19. Kung parang nagsimula yung lahat. Ito po talaga yung kantang gugulat sa lahat.
They collaborated with a critically acclaimed Korean producer, Oh Woon Lee, who's behind the success of TVXQ and Stray Kids. Pablo, with the help of the boys, wrote the song as they began to enter the go-up era. They started practicing their go-up dance routine, which was intricately choreographed by Stel and Ken. They were required to practice 30 times daily until they reached 1,000 reps. And boy, they did it. They were even challenged to perform the dance routine at double speed. Yep, that was not even in fast forward. Now that they have reached the quota, it was time for them to shoot the music video. July 19, 2019. SB19 dropped their Go Up music video. Expectations were higher because this was the song that showcased their singing, dancing, and songwriting skills. But for some reason, it has also met a lukewarm reception. They then started promoting the song using the methods they know. They even reacted to their own music video. But none of their efforts made a significant impact. After that, you would think that it was the biggest setback. But not until August 17, 2019. This was when the Go Up press conference happened. This was supposed to be an effort for them to establish a presence in the media world. They were interviewed by professional journalists, but instead of receiving a warm welcome, most of what they got was straight up disrespect.
Pero kanina pa ako ba? Ano ba yan, Stel? Ano ba yung ayos mo yan? Talagang style yan o ano? Hindi lang ginawang Stel
Yung style ko po ba or yung name ko? Kasi po, clear ko po, yung name ko po, Stel. Kasi po galit po siya, yung full name ko po is Stel Bester po. Ako, Stel Bester po.
Barako.
Opo, kasi po yung mama ko po, idol niya po si Sylvester Stallone. Kaya doon niya po pinasa yung name ko po. Tapos po, yung style ko naman po ngayon, actually po, hindi ko po alam eh. Kumbaga, kung ano na po yung naisip ko, ito yung suot ko, sige, ganito na nga namin mo ko, parang ganito po, yun na lang po yung inaisip ko. Pero wala po.
So lahat kayo straight?
Opo. Pero may gulot po. May gulot po. Ako lang. Sakali mo kung gulot talaga ako, wala naman po masama. Hindi ba? Siguro nilawin ko na po yung Estel. Kasi po, madalas po siya kasi matagal na po kami magkaibigan. Bruce din po kasi siya madalas sa mga babae. So siguro po, baka po akalain yung medyo weird po yung ano.
Kasi kung may club siya ngayon, parang bakla talaga.
Ay. Bali po, Sylvester sa umaga, Stel sa gabi. Hindi, joke lang. For yun nga po, gano'n lang po siguro, parang medyo meron lang po siya ibang parang banners na girly, pero hindi po, wala pong gano'n sa
is na-clear na kanina yung about sa body issue. Kasi sabi nyo kanina, may mga pa-hold pigments at sa kaya.
You're not bothered by the fact that you sound like a Korean. Hindi kayo napapakala dun sa tunog nyo na hindi kayo Pilipino, kundi Korean.
Hindi po kami nababother kasi po,
Kasi ako bothered na to. Pero magaling.
Despite all the judgment, they handled the interview professionally. As the event concluded, the boys broke down to tears backstage and comforted each other. Perhaps they're just human beings, and the thick skin they develop all throughout those years can only take so much punishment, especially when it went straight to their hearts.
And then, their lives changed in just one fateful day when they uploaded their Go Up dance practice on YouTube on September 2, 2019.
It quickly went viral, which opened a lot of doors for SB19 to have TV guestings and live performances.
May group hug? Okay, sige. Oo, dyan lang kayo.
introduce yourself? Get in the zone, break! Hi, we are SB19!
My name is Mike Spice Kita. I am the wittiest in ABS-CBN.
As the world started to notice them, their YouTube channel grew exponentially. Their dance practice video reached 1 million views in just a week, then 2 million a month later. Wait a minute, who's Arum? November 2, 2019.
So for the final announcement of the fandom name, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! 18!
What's it mean? 18, what's it mean?
Una-una sa lahat, pag pinakita mo siya, 18 siya, di ba? 18. So kasi kami, SB19, 18, 19.
So if there's no 18, then also there's no SB19.
Yes. Kasi kumbaga, syempre 18 muna bago natin 17, 18, 19. Pag walang 18, hindi makakarating sa 19.
Another means.
Another meaning. So if you're going to read this 18, it could also be read as atin. So all the success, all the lahat ng natatamo natin ngayon, atin to, ours. Everything is ours. Hindi lang sa amin, kundi sa inyo rin. Atin. Everyone. Atin.
Kumbaga, represent Filipino represent.
Kumbaga, yung dreams natin, pangarap, problems, everything, we will share together. Atin yan, lalaban tayo, kaya natin yan natin. Lastly, gusto talaga namin special mention yung Aurum sa lahat-lahat. Kasi sa totoo lang, talagang sila yung unang sumuporta sa amin nung hindi pa nila, wala pang nakakilala sa amin sa grupo namin. Kaya thankful kami. Kaya nakahiwalay yan, A, ibig sabihin yan, Aurum. Aurum and SB19. Aurum and SB19. Sana po masaya po kayo sa lahat sa fandom name na nagawa po ng grupo namin. And katulad nga po, 18, atin, sama-sama tayong aangat. We will go up.
Yeah!
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is when 18 was born. So what does it mean to be in the zone? It turned out that actually all of them have always been in the zone. Being in the zone is what allowed them to defy all the odds. It was the zone that allowed a 5-foot man in the NBA. It was the zone that allowed a man living in the streets to rise up and become a billionaire. It was the zone that took an idea from someone's head to the moon. It was the zone that won wars, and lack of it had lost. It is the zone that separates their ideas and dreams from a materialistic reality. Manny, Efren, Catriona, SB19. What do they have in common? Would you believe me if I said that SB19 would be successful if I met them 3 years ago? You'd probably think I'm cheating because I'm talking from the present, and your past self would never believe me because I might have only seen them as a trying hard boy group who had to wear the same clothes over and over and over and over again because they couldn't afford a nice variety. But what if despite all this, they already knew what's gonna happen?
Itong mga to, sigurado ako in the future, magiging successful kami.
They knew their destiny. Pablo's username reads, I'm Seasmite. A random fan asked, why? He answered, it also means seismic, like Earth's vibrations. It's something big and important, so when I seize the mic, I create this impact, like an earthquake. And when an earthquake happens, you know what's next after that? Are you sure you don't know? Do you actually want me to spell it out to you? Okay, let me show you. Yeah, that's Pablo. If you're new here, you're probably wondering how he ended up there. This is called Triple.
Get in the zone. Wait.
Finally, they were starting to go up. They were very young. This was the time when they were still trying to figure out their musical identity. Enter the Get in the Zone album. Just check out the level of variety.
Burning up di na matatanggi. Unting lunurin ang aking nadarama. Yeah, we gonna go up. Ibibigay ko ang aking puso. At kahit pa ang mundo ay mag-iba, huwag mong ikunot ang iyong noo. Nariyan ang kaibigan mo. The only one I never say goodbye.
It was definitely a mix of everything. The Bashers immediately saw this as a weakness. They were seen as a group who didn't know what they were doing. Despite all the hate, 18 didn't get affected as they started to get to know the boys on a deeper level. We got to know their fun side.
Si Ken naman po, nung na-meet ko to dati sa cover group, parang sabi ko, feeling ko mayabang to, parang ganun po, mayabang to, tas tumbling-tumbling ka pa dyan, ganun, tumbling-tumbling pa to.
Uy, that's mental step.
Parang lagi siyang may sariling mundo, hindi po siya belong sa amin.
Tinanong siya ng teacher namin, sa tingin mo sino pinakamagaling sumayaw? Ako! Sabi niya po.
Ikaw, me, ako po, sinabi ko po talaga.
Ay, kung confident ka naman, bakit
Yes
hindi,
po,
di ba?
ang galing ko po talaga.
Si Justin po, una ko nakita to. Pogi. Siguro mayabang to.
Si Justin naman po, nung una ko po siyang nakita, sabi ko, typical guy. Parang ganon. Sorry!
Si Justin po, parang pure, parang inosente. Pero nung nalaman ko, hindi po pala.
Oh my gosh!
Si Stel, sobrang friendly po. Siya po yung happy pill namin.
Di ko alam na siya pala yung main vocal po kasi akala ko magaling na talaga siya sumayaw. First impression ko po kay Josh, mabait po siya na may mayabang po na dati.
Ayun!
Tinatry niya lang maging maangas pero deep inside, hindi talaga.
Softie pala, softie!
Kasi Sejun, akala ko po hindi siya yung leader.
Nung una, ang weird niya po, nagsasalita mag-isa, parang bigla na lang siya nagagano. Sa isang tabi po, nakatayo siya sa gilid. Tapos may training kami, tapos biglang gagano. Tapos biglang gagano. Gagano po siya sa gilid. Sabi ko, anong ginagawa na? Nagre-ritual ba ito sa gilid?
We also got to know their internal battles.
Thank you to all of our families, especially to our parents, and sa mama ko at sa kapatid ko. Thank you kasi lagi niyo po sinusuporta. Kahit sobrang hilig ko sa pugal sa buhay, hindi ako sigurado kung ano yung pinapasok ko. Pero nandiyan lang yung para sa akin. Thank you. Gusto ko mag-thank you sa apat na to. Gusto ko pasalamat sa apat na to kasi hindi ko namin iniwan. So, may nangyari na dati na hindi ka lang magkahiwalay ng grupo pero bumalik sila kasi hindi nila ako iniwan. Yes! Parang naisip namin na mas maganda ituloy namin yung dreams namin. Gusto ko mag-thank you sa bawat members kasi sila yung pinaka-unang hindi. Sila yung lagi naniniwala sa akin pag hindi ko na kaya, sila yung nagtulong sa akin na ako kasi suko. Yan, si Seju, si Justin, si Ken, si Josh, lahat by showing me the best. I love you so much. Since na napasalamatan ako nila lahat, so wala po pasalamat si Sir Robin for building this. Kung wala si Sir Robin, hindi kami mag-build. Walang show PT, walang show na to, wala kayo dito. It's because of Sir Robin.
And just like that, SB19 got us into their zone. So back to the album. As unique as each of the songs was, all 7 of them managed to reach the #1 spot of Billboard's Lyric Fine Global chart. It's still insane thinking about it today. And they weren't done. They also appeared in Billboard's top Social 50, peaking at #3. Or so they thought.
And aside from that, eto, nagbabasa rin ako ng mga comments naman sa ating comment section. Kasi, di ba yung last na pinost niyo is number 3 kayo sa Billboard Social 50. Pero ngayon, number 2 na kayo, guys! Oh,
what?
At Billboard Social 50, may mga nagko-comment dito. And, number 6 na kayo. Number 7, di ba, nung last niyo yung pinost. Number 6 na. Virgin Artist, congratulations! Oh, di ba?
They couldn't believe it. Stel ended up forgetting that he was in a live interview because he had to check it himself. Yep, it's real. September 1st, 2020, a well-known artist canceled an Instagram live interview with MTV scheduled for the next day. So MTV host Kevin Kinney invited SB19 on a short notice to fill in. An opportunity knocked, they answered.
Who does the collaboration?
Oh my god. Who wants to go first? For me, I like to collaborate with Mr. Bruno Mars.
2 weeks later, Kevin made a bold prediction.
We ask a lot of people for interviews. A lot of people that you want us to interview, we take it very seriously when we reach out. Some people, you'd be amazed, don't have the time of day, can't find the time, can't do it. Oh, you know, that's tough. Okay, no harm, no foul. Then there's the people that are like, name the time, name the place we're there. SB19 did that at 9 p.m. They'd never done an Instagram Live before. They didn't know if they could be together. They made it a point to not only be together, but be together at 9 p.m. because they knew that was the only time that it worked for this US-based host. That type of work ethic is going to take them very far in the music industry. I'm also very good at predicting music, okay? Right? I'm like the MTV push of hosts. The same way that MTV knows how to pick winners, I know how to pick winners. I said on this very after show, SB19 are going to be big stars. I said it on my IG Live. I've said it to you in private, Caitlin. I've said it to Banjo. You know, he didn't say anything back. SB19 are going to be big stars. They have it. Charismatic. They're hardworking. Today's date is September 18th, 2020, when I'm saying this, okay? I want somebody to post this on September 18th, 2021, and you can see how right I am because of how much larger and more well-known SB19 will be a year from this date right here.
And when 2021 started, he reminded people about what's to come.
4 years into my career, I've seen some people come and go, and I've seen some journeys, and you can spot things, right? You can notice trends, you can notice similarities. SB19 right now, and the lock that 18 has on the voting week in and week out, and seeing them rise up the Social 50 chart over at Billboard, it's very akin, it's very similar to what was going on with BTS 2017, 2018. Now I hope SB19 can reach those heights. I'm rooting for them. Those guys are awesome guys and hard-working guys. I've interviewed them after like incredibly 10-hour plus work days of rehearsal and choreography practice, and they still put a smile on their face, and they're incredibly hardworking. I think that's really aside from the music being good, it's the work ethic that's going to take them to the top. So my prediction is they're going to break out in a huge way this year. So take that for what it's worth, 18.
Then what happened? Kevin's prediction came true.
18 SB19. Congratulations.
This song was on the next level. It showcased Pablo's songwriting skills, Ken's dance moves and unique sound, Stel's heavenly voice and choreography, the most iconic rap verse in all of P-pop by Josh, and Justin's brilliant mind, which created a spectacle no one has ever seen in the country. It became the fastest P-pop music video to reach 1 million views in just 16 hours. SB19 sent shockwaves that reminded people of what they are capable of.
Meron na akong natanaw na ko ang ilang music video nga what na-encourage ko
The world got inspired, so it responded with a giant wave of appreciation.
Gusto ko rin ipagmalaki yung SB19 talaga.
SB19.
Yung last video nila, yung What?
Uy, maganda yun.
Ang ganda ng video, di ba?
Ang gagaling, grabe. Grabe. I think, doon mo rin naman makikita na hindi mo pwedeng pulaan ng isang tao na nag-prepare hanggang sa makakita siya ng opportunity para gamitin yung preparation na yun. Walang pinagkaiba yan kay Manny Pacquiao na nag-train sobrang galing, pagpasok niya ng ring, knockout yung kalaban. Walang difference yan. Lalo ko na-appreciate ang isang artist na alam kong pwedeng magyabang pero hindi nagyayabang.
This was also the time when I found them. Their music made a difference in my life. It gave people happiness. Their music inspired us to become a better version of ourselves despite our imperfections. SB19 taught us not to only raise our own flag, but to wave it proudly.
SB19 are gonna be big stars. They have it. They're charismatic, they're hardworking. So my prediction is they're going to break out in a huge way this year. So take that for what it's worth, 18.
The guy who predicted their success was the same guy who indirectly called them cheaters. This tweet didn't drop any names, but this was posted around the time when SB19 got the #1 spot on MTV's Most Requested Artists for 21 weeks in a row, and this was against much bigger artists. So it was clear which fandom he was talking about. This was only one of the many obstacles they had to overcome, because after all these years, they turned out to be monsters. It might not look like it, but SB19 are people too. They have social media and they see everything. So it only makes sense that some of these hate has gotten into them.
I feel like I'm never enough. Parang feeling ko I'm fake.
Dumating na ako doon kasi minsan hindi lang naman yung mga tao sa paligid ko yung kalaban ko. Sarili ko pa din. Siguro masabi ko hanggang ngayon, nandun pa din siya. Tapos hindi ko pa rin siya natatalo.
I wasn't good enough. Parang sinasabi lagi na, hindi ka pa enough. Hindi mo pa kaya. Ibigay ko na lang sa'yo. The best nangyari sa akin. Parang, bakit sila kaya nila? Ba't ako hindi ko pa kaya?
I mean, why can't people just embody this mantra?
If you have the chance to be kind, always choose to be kind for everyone.
This was the time when Pablo decided not to be silent anymore. SB19 dropped the Pagsibol EP, and one of the songs takes a shot against those haters. The lyric video itself screams a lot of shutting them down. The conceptualization is on a different level. Just take a look at this guy. This character literally resembled all 5 members, and the person behind it and all other mind-blowing concepts is Justin. He didn't just come up with these creative concepts, he built them from scratch and oftentimes even used frame-by-frame animation. He's a guy who knew what he wants, like a monster hiding behind a beautiful face. And we all knew about the song that produced the most iconic rap line in P-pop. Josh gave it so much justice that it made us forget about his other talents in handling interviews.
So what do you think is the difference between Filipino boy groups and you guys?
But we couldn't say that we are really better than them because we respect them.
Finance, music, gaming, and the world of dance. The dude is a legend in the K-pop dance cover industry along with Stell in Sayon. Even before SB19, Josh was already a monster. This brings us to another song from the EP. My favorite part was the imitation of the monster's laugh. This was done by none other than a monster vocalist himself, Stel. He's just one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life because of his versatility.
Panahon ay di inasahan, sa problema ay nabulunan. Nahirapan huminga at tila ba hindi ko na alam kung paano palalaban. Ako'y nanalangin, ngunit nilamon ng dahil sa ng aking hangarin nahulog, lalong nalunod.
I mean, only a monster gets called up by a friend to do a freestyle vocal run and ends up making an epic song intro.
You won't believe it. Hey!
People also tend to forget his ability to sing in lower notes. And speaking of forgotten talents, who would dare forget his ability to dance and teach it at the same time? The man single-handedly choreographed almost all of SB19's amazing dance routines. If that isn't a monster to you, then I don't know what is. Enter the oldest song on the list. This is the song that saved us from virtually everything in the midst of the pandemic. It saved us from boredom, sorrow, anxiety, burnout, homesickness, depression, you name it. My favorite part of the song is the first verse done by Ken.
Pagising sa umaga'y tinig mo ang paboritong inig.
It makes you feel like you want to cry, but you're happy. You know what I mean? He's just effortless in setting up the mood. But when it comes to his talents, he's in no mood to be joking. This guy has a voice that sounds like he came straight from the underworld. The dude can literally do everything from singing, rapping, dancing, writing, producing, entrepreneurship, drawing, shooting balls, playing, to flying? Sheesh, that's a monster right there. Now let's move on to the song that was written out of a laundry routine.
Remember yung time na when we are doing our laundry? Nagluluto tayo, tas sabi ni Pablo, anong gusto niya sabihin sa parents niyo? Tas ayun, doon nagsimula tayo.
You heard it right, it's Mapa.
Huwag mag-alala, ipikit ang iyong mata, tana, pahinga muna, ako na.
This song broke the hearts of many people all over the world, including mine. This easily became their best song ever because it's very relatable. It pays tribute to our loving parents and gives thanks to them for all the sacrifices they've made for us. The impact was so immense that it was sung in many different languages.
Mama, it's been a while, I miss you. What you've been doing, can I call you? I hope you miss me too. हमेशा हमें ही आगे लगाते हैं, इस बार पहले जा सकते हैं ना. 因为你是我的眼睛，每次世界都在变化，无呼吸的原野。だから楽にしても泣かないでね、安心して任せてよ。No te apures más, es hora de descansar, mamá. Mucho has hecho ya, confía. La tara tara, la tara tara, la tara tara tara, la tara.
The melody takes me back to this unforgettable moment. Everyone's family showed up except for Can. Then this happened. This moment was so precious because Ken never expected his family to show up.
This made Mapa even more special because it was performed by SB19 together with their families.
Huwag mag-alala, pikit ka ng matatana. Pahinga muna, ako na. Huwag mag-alala, ipikit ang iyong matatana. Pahinga muna, ako na.
And behind this universal anthem is the mind of a genius himself, the monster in the center of it all, Pablo. If you have noticed, his name is all over every SB19 song we know. Some people say he's got the Midas touch because every song he made was an instant hit. I mean, just listen to how clever the lyrics are in SLMT.
SLMT nakuha mo ba ikaw yung
He managed to thank us by using our fandom's language without making it sound cringe. And he's not even done. He has so many unreleased bangers that are just waiting to be unleashed. As a group, SB19 earned the infamous nickname Live Monsters. It's because they move and sound even better when live. This is one of the main reasons why they have a fast-growing and dedicated fan base. They garnered a lot of support that they managed to reach the global music scene.
This category is fan voted because music is all about the fans. Now let's get into it. This year's 2021 finalists are the girls from Blackpink, the boys from BTS,
Blackpink, of course.
We have Queen Ariana Grande, yeah. We have the Filipino boys, Just Like Me, representing SB19. Let's do this. And the ever so incomparable 17. Congrats to all of the amazing finalists. You can vote for your favorite beginning May 10th. Now, let's go back to the studio.
Josh couldn't believe it. He couldn't hold his tears because finally, he took a step on their quest for world domination.
I want to dedicate this stream to our friends SB19. So again, congratulations to them for being a finalist in the Billboard Music Awards Top Social Artist. Sobrang nakaka-proud.
But despite all the accolades, we can't deny that some people, even P-pop fans, still doubt them. So let me show you something to shut them up. This is the chart of the most viewed P-pop boy group MVs in the first 24 hours. I intentionally didn't put SB19 there because if I did, this happens. Their songs easily occupy the upper half percentile by a large margin. This begs the question, are they just too far ahead of the game? Or are they just...
Ano bang ibig sabihin ng SB? Kala ko sama ng mga bakla eh.
So lahat kayo straight. Sound like a cake.
K-pop ang dating eh.
K-pop pangit.
Palagay ka ng tattoo sa mukha. Yung kahit henna lang, tapos nakabahag ka.
Ginabok nyo rin yung launching ng SB19. Sana lang sa dulo.
Maganda kasi yung revenge kasi talaga yung success na ipapakita mo sa mga hindi naniniwala sa inyo.
Tama yan.
If I told you that Gento era started way before 2023, would you believe me? This video was taken more than a year ago on SB19's legendary comeback in the Wish Bus. You will realize it when you see it. In a world where choices and chances collide, a concept emerges. It's captivating and mysterious. Fate.
Fate.
This is a journey that transcends the boundaries of ordinary existence, challenging our perceptions and igniting our curiosity. Prepare to question, marvel, and discover the forces that shape their lives. Were they just mere pawns in the grand scheme of things? Or did they, against all odds, become masters of their own destinies? Back in SB19's training days, they loved listening to OPM songs during their breaks and stretching sessions. Most of them are songs from Ben and Ben. They really looked up to them because of their music. They were simply just humble fans of an already established Filipino band. And in 2019, when they were still trying to make a name for themselves, something quite unexpected happened.
Hello everyone, we're here with Better Band!
If you haven't noticed, they really tried their best to appear calm and professional as they met their idols. But after they parted ways and entered their vehicle, SB19 pretty much lost it and became fanboys themselves, which was quite a wholesome sight.
We met Ben and Ben, bro! Successful performance and Ben and Ben!
Pagpasok namin ng sasakyan, tapos biglang lumabas sa sasakyan nila yung Ben and Ben. Tapos, lumalapit sila, sabi na, pa-picture tayo.
What a coincidence!
Mami, sobrang saya ako, tumatalon talaga ako sa saya.
So, pagka nag-collab tayo Ben and Ben SB19, so Ben19. SB19!
SB19!
And 2 years later,
Pag-alala, ipikit ang iyong mata. Pahinga muna, ako na.
man, who would have thought that wishful thinking would actually turn into reality? Crazy stuff for sure, but not as crazy as this one. In 2021, SB19 were asked about their plans after the Pagsibol EP, and this was their answer.
Gusto po namin magkaroon ng parang katulad po sa ibang bansa na magkaroon talaga ng music show na talagang solely yung mga grupo na nagsasama-sama, pinopromote yung mga ganyan bagay. Kasi dun makikita, dun mapapanood din ng mga ibang audiences from all over the world yung talent ng Philippines. So, hopefully next year, makakasatuparan.
So, parang in short, Philippine pop adventure.
This interview wasn't released to the public until the next year because I think the media didn't believe them. Maybe they thought it was impossible to unite all artists in the P-pop scene because it is known to be very competitive. Even fandoms go to war from time to time, and the sheer scale of logistics alone to get everyone on board could make most organizers quit their job. But hey, despite the uncertainty, they managed to pull it off. How did they do it? Well, maybe SB19 were just so determined to prove that P-pop is not a competition. It's a community. That historic event happened in Araneta Coliseum, a stage that, back in the day, SB19 could only dream of. At the time, they could only joke about it.
Ang dami nagsasabi kami na ay parang beda. Nagkakamali sila sa kami ngayon ang apa. Sino mo mag-aakala na kami magkukulit? Maghanda na kayo, susunod na
But they had no idea that it would actually become their home stage.
What's up, Araneta?
At this point, you probably recognize a pattern already. When SB19 makes a prediction, they likely come true. Which is pretty crazy to be honest. But what's beyond crazy is when it reaches the level of insanity. You see, when they were asked to wear a blindfold on the Halloween of 2019, Pablo said this.
Parang napanood ko na to sa TV. Feeling ko alam po saan tayo pupunta, sa Pinoy Big Brother.
Oo nga, no?
Ganito yun eh. Ganito ba yan? Lilipat na tayo sa bahay ni Kuya. Uy! Kaya SB, sa bahay ni Kuya.
And 2 years later,
Wow.
Hello po, Kuya.
Hello po.
Maligayang pagdating sa aking bahay, SB19.
so they were actually blindfolded for more than 2 years? Anyway, when SB19 entered the Pinoy Big Brother house, they easily became one of the most entertaining guests the show has ever had and gave birth to some very interesting interactions.
Titirang pa. Earthquake or fire? Don't panic. Hoy! Labas! 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 Master! Hoy! Wait! Hey!
Yeah, we gonna go up. Ang nakikita sa aking ipipikit aking mata. Itong aking pinapangako, hindi susuko. Yeah, we gonna go up. Ibibigay ko ang aking puso, kahit pa imposible. Yeah, we gonna go up.
Kinikilig ako. Hindi ko po kanina kuya matago talaga yung kilig ko kuya kasi gawa ang pupugi pa naman.
Kahit ilang beses pang matubay. Yeah, we gonna go up.
Ipinakikilala ko sa inyo ang SB19.
Dito nakapunta na po kayo sa Egypt.
Actually, no. Not yet.
Ako nakapunta na ako Egypt. Electronic jeepney.
Helicopter may iwan ka dito.
Ha?
Helicopter may iwan ka dito.
Bagay ka sa bahay ni Kuya. Bakit mga bang furniture?
Ken, anong pakiramdam na hindi naman talaga bakasyon, pero semi-break?
Para ka natanggalan ng buhay.
Grabe naman! And I was crying on the staircase, begging you please don't go. And I said, wala ka man ngayon sa aking piling. Nasasaktan man ang puso at damdamin. Mulit-muli sa'yo na aminin, ika'y mahal pa rin. At kung sakali na muling magkita at marama na mayroon pang pag-asa, ngunit muli sa'yo na aminin, puso na puso ang magpasya. Ako'y isang imong Adarna, napagaling ko ang hari dahil dito.
Yep, typical SB19 antics right there. Now if you think that prediction was insane, then I have something more insane coming up.
Holy shit, this is insane. Max. Yeah, quiet, I'm sorry.
When Josh celebrated his birthday back in 2020, SB19 members surprised him with a mysterious guest. And this mysterious guest apparently can read minds. He told Josh to ask him anything about his future, and this was his question.
Ano gusto mo malaman about your future? Sa isip lang.
Will I be a professional esports player?
Here's the answer. I hope you have the time to be an esports player in the future when SB19 goes international. Now, let me just emphasize yung sagot ko. I hope you have the time to be an esports player, a professional esports player for that matter. You're gonna be a semi-professional esports player. Okay? But, I hope you find the time when SB19 goes international.
Oh, di ka lang sa teko.
So not only did Josh become a pro esports player, but SB19 also went international by entering the Billboard charts and having success with their first ever world tour while proudly representing their country.
I know you made the Philippines proud, but you make all of us proud.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
If we turn back time and ask random people, most of them might not even believe it would happen.
I don't believe in superstitions.
And this created one of the most memorable moments, especially for their international fans. When SB19 were just about to wrap up the concert in San Francisco, this suddenly happened.
SNMT 18! In Philippine, SNMT, maraming salamat. Alam niyo, kinakabahan ako sa mga ganito. Wow! Wow! Okay, let's watch it from the side. Uy! Oh! Wow! Bilis mag-edit ha? Bilis ah! Yeah! Our first US, di ba? US television. Our US debut! US debut. Wish USA! Let's go!
Last concert tour. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much, SB19, and see you soon.
Hello, congratulations to SB19 on your successful US tour.
Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
I want to congratulate SB19 for finishing your first US tour. Thank you, SB19, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, Mahaliman. Congratulations for your first US tour. And keep in mind that we love you. This is just the beginning. Thank you so much, SB19. See you next time. See you in Canada.
We hope you enjoyed your stay here in the US during your wild tour and have plenty of memories with your friends. Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
Hi, SB19. Congratulations on your tour. See you next year. Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
Thank you, SB19. See you next time.
That made me chill.
Me too. Thank you so much, me too.
boys. So amazing. You guys are beautiful people. I just want to say, we couldn't really thank you enough. We are so blessed to have you guys, you know, and to have this platform where we could enjoy and do what we love, and at the same time inspire and motivate people. Talagang we have the responsibility, and we will do our best to inspire people and motivate people, and together we attain our goals together. So I'm just really blessed and happy that we have you guys. We're so thankful. From the beginning up until now, you have been, you know, unconditionally supporting us, and we know that this is just the start. I love you too. I love her. I love you also. Words can't express what I feel right now, but I'm really, really overwhelmed and my heart is so full. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Thank you guys so much, guys. Changed our lives. Alam niyo, before, it was just our dream actually to come here. To do a tour in the Philippines, but you guys, you're always there. We couldn't thank you enough. We couldn't thank you enough. You guys made us stronger. Thank you.
Yo, not gonna lie, that was a tiny bit emotional. Because, you know, SB19 started from nothing. They were once very young, but they dared themselves to dream. You may call it fate, prediction, or manifestation. But besides that, they also put in the work by practicing more than everybody, improving more than everybody, and sacrificing more than everybody. So this time, I'll let you decide the conclusion of this video. Is SB19 really predetermined? Or do they possess the power to shape their own destiny?
All the makeup. You guys, I'm not a big fan.
Something about it felt a little inauthentic to me. I just felt like they were trying really, really hard.
Yo, you heard those boys saying the first thing you're gonna go is hit them jackets?
So anong feeling pag binabalikan yung mga times na yon na ang daming people na nagda-doubt?
Huyo kayo ngayon.
This is just an ordinary photo of Ken taken back in 2022. But when this music starts playing, it becomes something out of the ordinary.
Gising sa umaga, siya agad ang gusto na makita. Di ako marunong kumanta pero para sa kanya harana. Teka lang, bakit ba parang nasa tono tong aking gitara? Gusto ko lang naman sabihin na malamahali kang yung ganda, malaya. Di magwawakas, tila parirala. Oh, Diyos ko, ano pa nga bang masasabi ko? Ay, come along. Sana di ka mawalay sa'kin ang aking sinta.
For many years, kings have looked into the heavens for guidance. Their ambitions and fates intertwined with the rhythm of the cosmos. As they uncover its different forms, the universe whispers secrets known only to those who dare to dream. And when they do dream, stars begin to align for them. Destiny bows to their command and their kingdoms start to thrive. Prepare to get used to seeing more moments like this in this video. Because
you are now in the presence of a king. What?
Back in 2019, 3 days before SB19's Go Up went viral, a group of students were just looking for a random person to interview for the school project when they found this good-looking bystander. They thought he was a foreigner at first, but then...
Are you from here?
Hoy, bakit ko yun?
Hindi sabi niya eh. Pero pwede po ba kami magtanong ng tatlong tanong para makapasa namin ang kaalaman ng bawat Pilipino?
Kuya, ano lang to? School project, kahit magkamali ka, okay lang. Malito naman kami.
Ayan, thank you.
Yan na.
Unang-una po, sino po ang pambansang bayani po natin? Halaga naman po kasi sa Rizal pa rin tayo. Thank you po.
Base pa din yung tanong mo.
Okay. Pangalawa po, ano po ang pambansang hayop po natin? Kalabaw, tama sir. Tama, sir. Pangatlo po, pinakamahirap. Hindi talaga. Ano po ang pambansang ibon po natin? Oh, Philippine Eagle, tama. Wala pa siyang prize.
Pangalan po, kuya.
Pangalan na lang po, kuya. Number at email ko. Justin. Thank you po, Justin.
Ay, pasimple ka. Okay. Nagiging bakla ka na.
This video didn't only prove the power of Justin's visuals, but also showcased his humility. But the most interesting thing is that this video alone has got to be the most subtle foreshadowing of what's to come. From being admired by just a small group of students to being admired by the whole country 3 days later, then the whole world a few years after. Just imagine the reaction of this guy when he finds out Justin's real identity. Another foreshadowing happened back in 2022 when they got invited to perform at the Binibining Pilipinas beauty pageant.
Where did you get those lovely eyes?
Pablo's ponytail was amazing here, by the way. So backstage, SB19 were just doing typical SB19 antics.
Our next contestant, Ginoong Pilipinas, number 16, Sylvester Ajero. Well, I believe in the 25 years of my existence here in the Philippines, I would say I'm standing here in front of you as strong as the man standing here in the center of me. And together, we are high five.
They had no idea that next year, this would actually come true.
And our judge will be
the most charismatic member of multi-awarded and Billboard nominee P-Pop Phenom, SB19, Mr. Josh Collins.
It's just so amazing how stars seem to align for them. What's even more amazing is what happened back in 2021 in a Zoom interview. Because what initially was just another playful joke turned into reality 2 years later.
Sample.
Kahit wala ka na, bukas ay maghihintay sa gitna ng pag-iisa.
Okay.
Ayun lang po.
Hindi ko alam yan.
Oo nga. Nag-turn ng chair si Stel. Yon, Coach Stel. Si Coach Stel ka na. Okay.
Ay, napaturn. Love it.
Hi mga kapuso, this is Coach Stel of The Voice Generations.
boy group in the land.
Hello po sa inyong lahat, kami po ang SB19.
At full support kami kay Coach Stel.
So from Stel singing in an empty room to performing in The Voice as one of the coaches. I mean, how do these things keep on happening to them? As they continue their quest, they released their Pagtatag trailer on April 2023. Everyone was blown away because the whole thing felt like a movie. The crazy thing about it is that most of the effects they used were practical, including this big explosion.
3, 2, 1, walk, and nice.
It's literally explosion.
Sheesh, that was dangerous for sure. A month later, they dropped Gento.
Gento, dito basta bingo. Need mo makumpleto para.
This song took over social media and became SB19's biggest song alongside Mapa because of its clever and meaningful lyrics and easy-to-dance choreography. A couple of weeks later, SB19 announced their departure from Show BT and dropped the full Pagtatag EP, which includes the catchy Gento,
Yeah, I'm gonna see you later. Pagkatapos ko mag-shower.
the sensual I Want You,
I wanna fall on my knees, beg for your body on me.
the battle cry Crimzone,
Now we run, we go hard like we lose none. We're crimson. On the sun, slicing, dicing, and it's
the heart-wrenching Ilaw, the heartwarming Liham,
ito ang aking liham sa pag-ibig ko.
and the uplifting Freedom.
You are my freedom. All them is disarray. We gotta celebrate.
The whole EP was so good that it immediately entered the music charts. Because of this, SB19 got invited to local game shows like Family Feud,
Stel, anong huli mong ginawa bago ka umalis ng bahay kanina?
Nagbanyo.
Anong ginawa mo sa banyo?
Nagwiwi.
Umihi. Survey. Wala!
Tapos yung 100 kayo, mali kayo.
Oh, tama.
Hindi kayo umiihi.
You guys are wrong.
Kaya may sakit kayo sa bato. Tama!
and I Can See Your Voice.
Wait a minute.
I just remembered something. They were also invited here back in the Go Up era. Some fans were saying that one of the show's host, Jobert, was mocking Josh's hair.
Yung pinaka-hit nila, yung love song na kanta nila. Ano? Why is our hair black? Yours is white. Katayin mo, kuya! Nag-umpisa tayo.
What do you guys think? Well, you decide. So going back, SB19 also performed in different new time shows, except it's Showtime because of this incident.
Okay, sige.
Gento.
Anong sayaw yan?
Gento.
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 SB19.
SB19.
Let's go. Bawal na raw.
Bawal?
Naningil na sila. Naningil na. Oo, bawal na daw. Hindi, mamaya sa labas.
Hindi ba good promo yun
Thank you
for
po.
the music
may bayad
industry?
na eh.
Ay, ganun lang pala.
Pero
Sayang.
mamaya po.
Thank you.
Sa labas.
This triggered fans, bashers, and musicians, making this issue explode. One side says it's the artist's right to collect royalty, while the other calls them greedy. Despite the issue, SB19 kept going. They were so unstoppable that even technical issues couldn't even hold them back.
Di ka basta-basta makakakita ng ganito. Di ko na kailangan nung hindi malatang. Parang makina ko, tamang mekaniko, ayaw ko, nanamoni-moni ko. Sa daming pinagdaan, nagbago ng story. Sa mga chismo, tuloy nagbumaling na rin ako. Hindi ba talaga makakali? Hindi ko pa mano, hindi. Sa doon mong tagumpag, beg, ibarak kong Malisto, lagi na listo. Kahit pasti na face to, tiglog pag na-beast mode, na-beast ko.
The real shit, the dude is all day.
All day.
See the diamonds, how they kill it, Kobe.
Kobe.
Yes, I grew up with the harder I play.
When I'm home court, sa akin sa kahit uwi.
Ito na nga wala naman. Kung nagawa mo mga ito sigaw pa. Kung galing sa lupa. Bakit pilitin mo mukha, hindi mo makukuha.
And then, it was time for them to take over as they kicked off their Pagtatag tour locally and internationally. The entire tour was a big success, so when SB19 came back home, they wanted to give back to their fans by organizing an event that was more intimate and full of interactions. Towards the end of the event, they revealed their Freedom music video. And while watching it, every member seemed to be having a flashback and started becoming emotional.
Sobrang punong-puno po ng kasiyahan yung heart ko ngayon. Kasi hindi namin akalain na abot kami ng 5 years. Tapos, itong 5th year, parang parang pag nagtatrabaho ka kasi, parang lagi mong iniisip yung dream mo, ginagawa mo yung best mo, masyado kang focus sa work, nakakalimutan mo i-appreciate yung mga maliliit na bagay. And syempre yung mga bagay na sinishare nyo sa bawat isa.
Ken, happy birthday. Para nimo ning mga tuiga nga hingabot. Hinaot ko nga ang Ginoo hatag pa nimo og dugang mga katuigan sa imong kinabuhi. Pero nasayon ko nga ang Ginoo ng proteksyon, labaw sa tanan, nimo sa imong mga kauban, sa imong mga fans, sa imong mga staff, sa tibuok grupo nimo sa SB19. Ang imong birthday celebration, kulang tumagi wala mi sa imong giliran nga nag-celebrate. Gawas pa ni ana na nagpo mo nga dili sa among mga kamot nga kami ang nag-alaga sa inyo ha. Nantod pagkato nagpo mo sa inyong apuhan. Pero bisan pa ni ana nasayod ka o nasayod ang Ginoo nganong naami din sa Ignacio ng ginabuhi sa Malaysia tungod sa atong pagkapobre, tungod sa atong pagkawala.
Ba't ka nag-breakdown?
Hindi po, kasi po, yun nga po, parang ang tagal na rin na walang nangyayari sa amin. Dapat ang pag-usap namin ng parents ko talaga is mag-stop na ako sa training. Mag-work na po ako after graduation.
Hanggang ngayon, hindi mo pa rin nakikita yung tatay mo?
Opo, never po. Recently po parang may nagpakilala po sa akin na kapatid po ng father ko. Kaso daw po, wala na daw sa katinoang isip. So, nag-move on na lang po.
Ay.
Kasi hindi alam ng mga tao yung hirap na pinagdaanan namin. Kaya pag nakakarinig kami ng talagang matatak talaga sa isipan namin, lalo na siguro kay Steve. Kasi pumunta ako doon, kumbaga, para ipakita ko ng yung skill ko. Pero kahit anong try mo, yun talaga pa rin yung napapansin ng mga tao.
SB19 have gone through some tough times for sure. But the toughest thing was yet to happen.
Before mabuo yung pagtatagin yung once, sobrang dami namin pinagdaanan, challenges, problem. And yung SB19 mismo na name, alam niya sa mga problems na nagdaan.
Fans have recently observed alterations on their social media accounts and promotional materials, notably the absence of the name SB19.
Most of their Asian tour concerts got cancelled last minute, which angered some fans. It was also revealed that SB19 were allegedly mistreated during their stay in their previous company. Despite all the speculations, they stayed silent for a month until 1Z Entertainment announced that they have finally reached an agreement with ShowBT that would allow them to use the SB19 brand again. Multiple articles were saying that SB19 regained ownership of the brand, but those were fake news. ShowBT still owns the name and just allowed the group to use it in exchange for a cut from their income, which is a significant blow to SB19's finances. This was made even more apparent in SB19's recent TikTok live when Justin said this.
live namin nung nag-Kwanzi kami. Ang gaganda ng live namin. Tapos ngayon live tayo, di ba? Alam niyo na.
Bakit hindi ko alam?
Justin was pretty much pointing out the difference between their live streams before and after the legal issues, because there was a clear decline in quality, which might have been the result of less financial capability. Despite all of it, they still signed the agreement. For them, it wasn't all about the money anymore. It was all about the love for their craft and especially for their fans. So one day after the end of the worst setback,
Next is the pioneer of P-pop, it's SB19!
comes their best global comeback.
Pilipinas! One song, a good song, no later. I woke up and baked their potato. Got cards shaped me for major. But I say we not mediocre. Tell me what you see. I'm going to you like a reflection. This is really I'm moving. My reality is routine. Model me ill. Derek, Jim, gonna see you later. It's gonna shower. Feel like I'm full of power. Feel like I'm sour, my head. Lean in my body, right? With the eyes, right? Keep it like the one diva. Nothing over the leg of your Bingo.
SB19 opened the show in the best way the fans could ever imagine. The biggest artists who attended the event couldn't even hide their amazement. Not only that, because they also received not just one, but 2 major awards, putting their name SB19 and the Philippines on the map, proving that they are indeed worthy of the nickname the P-Pop Kings.
Noon po, pangarap lang po namin ang makapag-release ng kanta, pero ngayon nasa harap niyo na po kami at tumatanggap ng award. Sa aming pinakamamahal na 18, maraming salamat sa walang sawang suporta, sa pagmamahal, sa pagtsatsaga at sa pag-aantay sa amin. Inuulit po namin itong award na to, hindi lang para sa amin, para sa ating lahat to. And of course, we are very happy and we're very honored to represent and to showcase the Filipino music all around the world. Muli kami po ang SB19, maraming salamat po.
So what have we learned from their story so far? For me, if someone wants to become a king, they have to live like one from the beginning. Living like a king isn't about enjoying a comfortable life full of luxury. It's all about daring yourself to dream. They were not born winners, but they built themselves to win. From being fans of their idols to becoming one themselves. We don't even realize that SB19 have always been living like kings all along. And they have been sitting on their throne, which is the destiny of their own. And their legacy is their kingdom, or what we call today as fandom. Let us make way, because
you are now in the presence of a king.
Pay very close attention to these clips. This is SB19 at their most broken state. And there's one thing in common behind these emotional breakdowns. Family. In my years of supporting them, never have I ever seen them break down because of their critics and bashers. Except for this infamous interview. SB19 were called gay and accused of imitating K-pop.
Bothered by the fact that you sound like a kid.
Tatang Robin rushed in to back them up. They were fine at first, smiling as they try to keep it together.
Nung questioning sa atin nung una natin, offensive.
Until they can't.
Sino ba kayo? Ganun lang.
Ay, wow.
You can see tears in their eyes as they're trying to fight back as doubt starts creeping in. Then comes darkness in their eyes as if something inside just snapped. You see, even the toughest people can be broken. But throughout life, only one thing could put that look in a man's eyes. Vengeance.
It would be like they're listening to the Avengers of the Philippines.
Pero para sa akin, yun yung masarap i-achieve eh. Yung mga bagay na imposible.
Masarap kasi sa pakaramdam na yung mga basher yung dati, kinakain nila yung salita nila ngayon.
SB19 paved the way. You might be used to seeing this statement in the comment section of any SB19 related video, especially in response to those who doubt or downplay SB19's impact in the music industry. A chorus of fans will say this on repeat. Some find this repetition tiresome, annoying, even cult-like. But you know what? I'm one of those cult members, proclaiming this truth. It can't be overstated. If you understand how hard it was for SB19 to pave the way and blaze the trail, it's like being sent on an expedition into the unknown to achieve an insurmountable task, to put the Filipino music on the map. And if they won't be able to make it, at least they would have tried to leave their mark.
For those who come after, right?
While other entertainment companies are hesitant to send their artists to war,
I bet you the YouTube video that comes out afterwards is going to sound sick, and then it doesn't, and then our name's on something that's not sick. Correct.
SB19 were thrown into the fire and gladly welcomed the challenge. They performed in malls no matter if many people ignored them. They also performed in schools, orphanages, elevator lobbies, birthday parties, and even on the streets. A tradition they continue to this day. And most of these performances, they did for free. But saying yes to every challenge comes with great risks. The kind of risk that could destroy their career before it even takes off. Back in early 2019, the boys were slated to perform as a side act at the fan meet of two visiting K-pop idols. SB19 were ready to go like it was just another performance night. After the main Korean act finished their intro number, they handed their mics to SB19 for the intermission. The show's host also handed off his mic. So Justin, Pablo, and Stel got their mics, while Josh and Ken were like, "What about us?" The host answered, "I'm sorry guys, but these 3 mics are all you got." This all happened in the last minute before SB19's performance. They had 2 options: play it safe by backing out, or go all in, risking the possibility of messing up their lines and choreography. There were only 3 mics for 5 guys. But what happened next is just stuff of legends. And this is how they earned the respect of many fans. If the world was ending and it would take one ultimate performance to save it, I'm betting on SB19 because for me, they are the most clutch performers ever. I just know that they will never let me down because they always perform with a vengeance like there's no tomorrow. And they have already proven this on world stages. After all, these 5 just have it. The guts paired with the ability to execute under heavy pressure, even if things don't go their way. Like their own company, turning on them.
Fans have recently observed alterations on their social media accounts and promotional materials, notably the absence of the name SB19.
I don't want to bore you with legal terms, so let me explain what happened in the simplest way. The boys' contract with ShowBT had just expired and they had decided to opt out of renewing it to instead build their own company. In the midst of the Pagtatag World Tour, ShowBT chose to hold the SB19 name hostage. They were suddenly not permitted to use the name they had nurtured and strengthened, throwing their immediate future into chaos. So they had to come to an arrangement that would allow them to use their name again through an amicable agreement, which I presume to be a ridiculous amount of money or a hefty cut from their income as SB19. All of this happened in the last quarter of 2023. This was obviously a major setback to SB19's newly formed company, Onesie Entertainment. But remember how I described them as clutch performers? Turns out that they are also clutch when it comes to making major business decisions.
Sorry to disappoint you, Show BT. Huh? You triggered my trap card. Solo projects.
Historically, when group members start going solo, it usually leads to the group's decline, even downfall or disbandment. But for SB19, their solo projects kept their previous company from pocketing free lunch money off of their labors, while slowly funding their own baby 1Z. Not gonna lie, that is one hell of a genius way to exact vengeance. And boy oh boy how their solo careers flourished. Philip didn't waste time as he released his Bisaya language single Kanako right in time for Christmas 2023. Followed by Justin's first solo release, his international caliber Sunday Morning cover in January 2024.
That may be all I need.
And then a month later, he took us to a different world with Surreal.
While we walk slowly under the trees and...
A couple of months after, Philip was still on his path to vengeance with Fake Faces.
So don't tell me it's wrong, 'cause it's not. I don't trust nobody.
Then in June, Stel dropped his Room EP, which made most of his fans jealous of this girl.
Damn it, it's so pretty. I see me flow in your body.
In July, this other girl annoyed the heck out of everyone in Justin's Kaibigan music video.
Natatakot ako baka may magbago.
Philip, as usual, stayed vengeful when he released his Seven Sins album. Then come September, Josh decided it's his turn with his gritty Lost and Found album. And finally followed by Pablo's double album Alon. And Laon. I'm telling you, their individual talents leveled up like crazy in their solo era. Justin's world building, Philip's unapologetic creativity, Stel's aura farming, Josh's storytelling, and Pablo's pen game were the major highlights for me. And this only strengthened their fan base, who got more invested as they found out more about how strong each member truly is. And because of these solo projects, it became a very productive year for 1Z. But for Show BT, not so much. Because the boys didn't release much as a group, just a few collabs from here and there. SB19 recently got him on a checkmate with vengeance. It must have been very frustrating for Show BT, so much so that they decided to abandon the trademark that same year, which allowed 1Z to register it under them. And as of December 27, 2024, the name SB19 and its trademark finally belonged to its rightful owner. The major setback was finally over. And because of this, I can't help but feel that SB19 is somehow protected from bad things by some greater force we don't fully understand. Don't you agree? In movies, you can call it plot armor. Or in life, it's what some may call karma. Remember these journalists in the intro?
You're not bothered by the fact that you sound like a Korean.
The guy who accused SB19 of imitating K-pop is this guy.
Thank you naman for inviting me again to your show.
He was a feared entertainment columnist known for his brutally candid and irreverent questions to artists. Just a month after SB19's Go Up press conference, he passed away. The one who questioned Stel's gender is this guy. The same guy who asked this question to Beyond Zero.
Ano ang meron kayo, ang Beyond Zero, na wala sa SB19?
As we all know, SB19 has the K-pop influence, the Korean influence. But we, Beyond Zero, came from the dance community at first hand. And kami, we have that hip-hop influence and we're very proud of that. And we really think na yung pagiging part namin ng hip-hop community, yun yung magbibigay sa amin ng edge to go global. As all of you know that we are actually TikTokers before all of this happened.
And the same guy who said this to Callista.
Ginabok nyo rin ang launching ng SB19. Sana lang sa dulo, mas mataas pa rin kayo sa SB19 dahil inabook nyo nga ang launching.
He's still active to this day on his Facebook page with 32k followers, posting gossip about celebrities. But looking at the level of engagement he gets, not many people seem to care anymore. But what about Beyond Zero? Honestly, I don't know. All of the members disappeared except for their leader, who is now happily performing as a drag queen. What about Callista? Well, they're still active, down to 4 members from the original 6. They're doing okay, having just released their latest song, which they even did a TikTok with Stell and Justin. Now I'm sure you recognize these folks. Instead of supporting their fellow countrymen, they resorted to mocking SB19's appearance and branding them as K-pop copycats. Because of the backlash they received, they deleted their video without any apology and moved on as if nothing had happened. Then just a few months ago, one of them did something quite surprising. Renz Verano performed SB19's Go Up. The same exact song they criticized 5 years ago. Now who's the real copycat? Another set of infamous bashers are these brothers.
K-pop. Lima pala sila. K-pop pangit.
Their reaction video gained a lot of views, but all for the wrong reasons. So where are they now? I don't know what happened to one brother, but the main owner of the channel remains active on YouTube. He changed his channel's name and now vlogs about his life as a person with disability because he sustained a spine injury in 2022. That's 2 years after they reacted to SB19. Now I didn't put him in this video to say, boo-hoo, he deserves it. He's included because I owe the community an update. And I strongly discourage going to his channel to get back at him. Instead, please show him some love because I think he's now a changed man.
Ang taong naninira sa kapwa ay siyang kaawa-awa. Tanggalin ang inggit upang ikaw ay lumigaya at di kaawa-awa.
There are many more people who criticized SB19 before, then fell off after a while. Others started as doubters and made a sudden turnaround to become SB19 fans after receiving some backlash. Whether they are genuine or not, it's all up to you. But I've decided to not cover them in detail as I didn't want this video to become unnecessarily long. So going back, SB19 started 2025 with their name under their full control. So they didn't waste any time and dropped the trailer of their finale EP Simula't Wakas on January 31st. And let me just say that I don't think any artist has done anything like it because they managed to seamlessly put together the biggest songs in one epic soundtrack, matching it with amazing visuals full of Easter eggs. Everybody was just left in awe as the trailer gave us an unbearable sense of anticipation of what's to come. And it didn't help when they announced that we had to wait for a month for the first song. So patiently, we waited. Then, SB19 solo projects from last year started paying off as each member racked up award after award. There were so many awards that mentioning all of them here will make this video super long. Now talking about awards made me remember these two pricks because they cried over Josh winning the Hip Hop Song of the Year from Wish. This guy at Talk posted a video acting like a self-proclaimed spokesperson of the hip hop community.
Paano nangyari yun? Ay, hindi rin namin alam, boss. Hindi rin namin alam. Puta kami. Kung gulat na gulat ka, mas gulat na gulat din kami. Hip-Hop Song of the Year, boss. Tayo na kahit yung lupay-pay ni Haring Mangi, silat ka dun, boss eh. Hindi rin namin alam, boss. Huwag mo sa amin itanong.
While Abra dissed Josh and SB19 in a song that he hoped would be his comeback to glory.
Carbon copy ng K-pop, fake fuck. Nagpaparinig pa sa'yo na nanahimik. Say what, dapat dyan pinapakitaan ng tunay na rap. ASAP, ang lakas mag-angas netong bagitong naka-make up.
Pablo revealed in an interview that he advised Josh not to engage in a counter diss because he's planning something, which we will get back to later. But 18 didn't just stand around in silence. They responded with a vengeance by dropping their own diss tracks to defend SB19.
Ipapaka mo haporket kwapo, disintunado, hindi na pwede ito makapasok, lakas mo lalo, ba't ka nandito? Mais na rapper, na magikero, di kayang tumono, kuha ng koro sa bawat obra, lakas mabongos, tagal di bumatil, o that's suspicious.
So the aftermath of all this was that To's Facebook page got deleted while Abra's listeners count stayed at mediocre levels. On February 28, the dam broke. This easily became hands down the best music video that came out of the Philippines because of its grand and epic scale. You can tell that making the music video wasn't cheap. They just nailed everything. The characters, the costumes, the setting, the story, the music. Man, the music! It was so unique that you would never think of hearing it anywhere else. But my most favorite thing about the song is the lyrics. Like, who the heck talks about self-accountability and the less desirable things like temptation and greed? Pablo's writing is just second to none. The music video racked up 1 million views in 10 hours, and after 24 hours, it quadrupled that amount. The view count of the MV kept rising to the point of it becoming #1 trending in the country. And SB19 weren't done. 2 months later, they released the Simula at Wakas EP, and I have to give these two clowns some credit that they deserve, because thanks to them, we got Dunka. If Pablo describes themselves as Avengers, then this music video is their version of the iconic scene in Endgame. Just look at the amount of relevant celebrities in this video. It is also rumored that most of these celebrities showed up for free. What I love about the music video is that it exuded so much Filipino pride with so many cultural references. I appreciate the fact that they are fighting for artistic freedom, the same exact thing that I am fighting for. But my favorite part of the music video is when Pablo finally executed that plan to exact vengeance.
Kasi dito basta-basta pusta di mo kaya, oy! Lumpa! Kapag ako na, nagpakawala, baka ikaw pang paghahanapin nila!
Another music video that dropped the same day was
Time memories will leave them be.
Nobody was ready for this because the lyrics of the song and the story of the music video did such a phenomenal job in emphasizing how brutal time could be when taken for granted. It also made us realize what truly matters in this life. It was very sad, but at the same time, thought-provoking. It changed our perspective, and to some, it was even life-changing. I literally have a friend who came home from overseas to her family to retire early after watching the music video to spend time with them. Not many artists have that ability to impact lives, and SB19 are one of those few artists. And another reason why they made such an impact with this song is because they also had a taste of how brutal time could be.
Broke my heart kasi until high school, diba, katabi ko sila. Ako tabi, nasa gitna ako ng lolo ko sa akin. Sobrang katabi yung regrets. Kasi noong time na naging medyo successful na ako, medyo tulong ako sa kanya. Actually, hindi pa ako nakapag-move. Sinabi ko sa kanya na bakit ngayon gusto kong gawin yung mga bagay na hindi ko nagawa sa'yo dati kasi diba? Pero parang ayun, feeling ko late na.
Now I'm running out of ideas how to transition from this song, so I'll just do this.
I came in like a hey, bomb, I come crashing down on the ground.
This song could easily be their title track and no one would even complain. And the swag in the chorus just makes you feel like some invincible badass.
Swerve, swerve, swing around me, swim around.
But if you like rock, here comes Philip's Quit. This song embraces individuality and staying true to oneself in the art they produce, which is one of the key reasons why SB19 have stayed relevant and authentic throughout these years. They are not only aiming for the top, but they are shooting for the stars. This song conveys a message about striving for one's dreams and goals, highlighting perseverance and the power of believing to oneself. That song also communicates that the people who support them will share the same success they'll get as we hop up on their rocket. So to wrap it all up, SB19 Simula at Wakas EP was an epic comeback. All tracks charted everywhere in the world, racking up millions upon millions of streams, a fitting vengeance to their haters. So what have we learned from all this? For me, I learned that there is a healthy way to take a path of vengeance. SB19 showed us that they are capable of fighting back when backed against the wall. They also proved how great of a tactician they are by picking their battles and knowing the perfect time to strike back. And I also learned how powerful 18 is, because every time SB19 gets attacked, we were always ready to clap back with a vengeance. And the rest of the obstacles that might derail SB19's path to greatness? Well, let's just say that karma will do its work. And for the haters who still say that SB19 did not pave the way, this message is for you.
It is a profound honor to stand before you today to celebrate a group that has not only captured the hearts of millions, but has elevated Filipino pride on the global stage, SB19. Just as the Velarde map once guided explorers to new frontiers, SB19's music and dedication serve as a beacon for the next generation, lighting the way toward endless possibilities. SB19, you are more than just artists. You are modern-day navigators, charting a path for the future of P-pop. This commemorative map, a testament to our history, symbolizes the courage to embark new journeys, where Filipino pride, resilience, and ingenuity shine brightly for the world to see.
Yes, binigay po sa amin kanina ang Murillo Velarde 1734 map. Is more than just a map dahil naniniwala po kami na ito po ay simbolo ng ating nakaraan at patunay ng ating kasalukuyan at gabay sa ating kinabukasan. Dahil po dito patuloy na hinihikayat namin ang bawat artistang Pilipino na yakapin ang ating kultura at karanasan dahil ang bawat obra ay nagiging bahagi ng makasaysayang mapa na gagabay sa susunod na henerasyon.
More than a historical document, this map represents a profound truth that our identity as Filipinos is embedded not just in our culture but in every piece of land and water that we continue to honor and protect.
Our responsibility and hope goes beyond resilience. It lies in understanding our roots, embracing our identity, and acting with genuine love for our nation.
Ang karangalang ito, ang paalalang ito at ang tungkuling ito ay hindi lang para po sa amin. Para ito sa bawat Pilipino dito man sa Pilipinas o sa iba't ibang pangpaling ng mundo. We promise to honor this responsibility, serving as a bridge between our rich history and the modern Filipino spirit.
Congratulations, SB19. Thank you for being our modern-day map makers, guiding us toward a brighter future for Filipino music and culture. May you continue to go up, shine brightly like the stars, proving that no challenge is too great for those who dare to dream.